Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to LP Tremors, where we talk all things violent horror. Davy Gallagher, Ryan Gavalier, how the fuck are you guys?
We're good.
Damn, it's been what since a month? A month since all of us got back together.
It's been 20 years.
It's
Yep. Been way too long. But anyway, we are back with possibly the gnarliest Friday the 13th movie in this franchise. We got Jason Goes to Hell right here, coming out in August of 1993, directed by Adam Marcus. And yeah, it's something. Davey, want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. So my box set, my cheapo box set, because in Europe we don't have that lovely big Scream Factory one, ran out at number 8. So I've only got the Miramax twofer that picks up the next two. So bless me, I've got the wee shitter set, but still does the trick. So Jason Goes to Hell. I love that it's the second film in the franchise that's called The Final, and neither of them are the final. So twice they go for the final Friday and twice it's not. But this film is mental. Absolutely mental, more mental than 10 Tommy Jarvises. It's completely off the wall, batshit insane. I don't think it's a Friday the 13th movie.
No,
I really don't. I think somebody had. I looked at a bit of the backstory and then I was bored by the other. New Line said this and Miramax said that, and I said bye. So bored of that. So what I can only imagine is that somebody said, "I've not really got an idea for Jason, but you know what? I really like the Thing. I like the Thing. I like that kind of passing the, who is it and stuff's being passed around. And yeah, I think we'll do that kind of thing." And somebody else has seen The Hidden. Remember that movie, The Hidden, with Kyle MacLachlan as the FBI agent before he was obviously Dale Cooper in Twin Peaks. The same thing happens in that. The person can be infected by an alien creature and you don't know who it is. This is the movie where Jason becomes, I don't know. Jason is now made up of bad CGI fire sperm, and when the fire sperm leave, they can go into somebody else, but then they're no longer fire sperm, and that uses up that other person's body quite quickly, and then has to turn into a kind of black thing that goes into, just like the worst French kiss ever, it just goes in, yeah. But then when we actually see what the Thing is, Jason has all of a sudden become a deep fried chihuahua. I mean, when we see him running about and what the actual demon is that's controlling you, it turns out it's just this fucking little animated nonsense creature. It's like, we have gone so far from number 1 and 2 here, it's not real. This is a completely different franchise. This is something beyond the pale. But I kind of love it. I kind of love this movie. I kind of love it to bits, really. Because it is so batshit insane. And it's full of nonsense. And they're setting up things because they think they're about to make Freddy versus Jason. And they think that's going to happen like 1995. Little do they know they're going to be waiting a bit longer. But they're also setting up Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. And that's why we have that scene with the Necronomicon in this, which now just looks like a bizarre little... Why is the Necronomicon in this? The original idea apparently was supposed to be that Jason, the reason he's now sperm demon thing, is that he was a deadite that Mrs. Voorhees read from the Necronomicon, and that's why Jason's immortal. And only Ash can stop him. And they made a comic book of that idea, which I've never read, but I'm sure is absolutely awful. But I'd kind of love to see that movie. As we know, they did end up making at least a Freddy versus Jason movie, but I'd kind of love to have seen Bruce Campbell involved in there as well. That would have been fun. You also get a few Easter eggs in terms of the sheriff's called Landis, just like John Landis. They always like to do these cheap little horror end jokes. And the crate that's in the back of the diner is the exact crate from Creepshow that the demon's been kept in, or the creature's been kept in one of the sketches in that. But this film is bizarrely half serious and half ridiculously over the top comic. And I love the over the top comic stuff, like the ridiculous family that run the diner. I love the mother, I guess she is, in that dynamic. I think she's hilarious. I think she's just fantastic. I love I actually think Steven's quite a good leading guy. He's not too annoying. He's not, he's a kind of everyman, but he's not annoying with it, and he's not too plain. He's not as dull as some of the and we don't really get a final girl here. We kind of do with what we find out is Jason's niece, I guess. Yeah, Jason's niece. But she's in it so little, really, that it's really Stephen is the hero of the movie, not her. So she's not really a final girl in the traditional sense of being the heroine of the film. But yeah, it completely rewrites a lot of Friday the 13th stuff and just turns it into family drama of the Voorheeses. So now we've got Jason's secret sister, who was just a waitress at a cocktail bar when I met you. And then Jason's niece, and then Jason's grandniece, I suppose. And he has to get one of them to be resurrected permanently, and blah 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 blah. Just like horror 101, all that kind of stuff. Just what you're just looking this up in Fangoria and put it on the script. However, it does give us the wonderfulness that is Stephen Williams as Creighton Duke, the bounty hunter, who I absolutely adore. He's walked in from the Predator or something. He's here for action, man. He's fucking badass. Even when Jason's killing him and he knows he's about to die, he's like, "I got news for you, my friend. You're gonna die." Oh yeah, oh yeah. And he would go on to be X in the X-Files. That's where I know him from best. The one who would feed Mulder and Scully all the information and all the they're watching you stuff. But he's really badass in it. I love that they go down the whole route of like, it has been written that only a Voorhees can kill a Voorhees. Like, who wrote this when? He was only born in 1948, for Christ's sake. And he's only been like resurrected in the last few years. So when was this written? You're talking as if this is a 3,000-year-old prophecy or something. But hey, maybe it's in the Necronomicon and we don't know. And again, he was going to have an expanded role where it was revealed, because he's got that line, "Remember me," where he says to Jason, like, "Remember me." And we never really get an explanation of why he should remember Jason, or Jason should remember him, rather. It was going to turn out that he was a kid at Camp Crystal Lake, and his girlfriend was killed by Jason, and he's been training ever since to catch his arch nemesis Jason as a bounty hunter. So I love the opening scene. I think that's terrific. It's a great, like, just get you straight into the action. With having a fake out of, so we're just going straight into a naked girl in a shower here, are we? Oh no, wait, it's an FBI sting. So now the FBI know who Jason is, and they're coming down in like helicopters and SWAT teams, and they just riddle him with bullets. I love some of the awful acting from the actors who have to pretend to be Jason. The awful TV show host, he's the worst at it. But they all play Jason more than Kane Hodder does. He's very lucky to be billed as Jason in this film, because the wee fat sheriff plays Jason more than he does, to be honest. Kane Hodder's in the mirror for most of it, just for like half a second. But yeah, I think it's a really enjoyable film. It's just not a Friday the 13th film. It's almost like somebody just, I've got an idea for a good film, and then somebody else said, yeah, it's not going to sell unless we've seen a franchise. Let's put the Friday the 13th name on it, and kind of tailored it to that, because it ignores what it needs to ignore, makes up stuff left, right, and center. And after 9 movies, I've not got a problem with that. As I always say, if you can't be interested, be batshit insane. And this is batshit insane. Again, references to other movies and other properties all over the place. The kills are kind of fun. There's head in the deep fat fryer, and there's not as many slashings in it. There's not as much knife stuff, but it's more kind of bodily kills, where he just snap their necks and things. But I think it's a really fun horror movie. Again, I just don't think it's terrific Friday the 13th movie. But again, after 9 movies, I don't really care about that aspect of it. As we know where we're going next in the next episode, they're really not giving a shit about continuity. They're just,
No.
Does it match the tone of 1 and 2? Well, we're going to space next, so who gives a fuck? This is just a fun film. It's an hour and 27 minutes, and there wasn't a minute of it when I was bored. There wasn't 1 minute of it, and not a single actor annoyed me either, which is very rare for these films. Very rare. There's always one person that makes me go,
yeah.
Everybody in it, apart from both the sheriff who was dating the mother, and the other cop who gets turned into Jason, both seem to have girlfriends who are about 25 years younger than. So these cops in this town are paid of players, man. They're all their girlfriends are at least 20 years younger than them. And they can never decide on how big this town is either. This is like the 5th diner we've had in these movies. It's like, this was supposed to be a tiny little town, and they've got at least 5 diners. What the hell?
Yeah.
I love the stuff with the Voorhees burgers. I love all that dark humor stuff. I think that's terrific. Rings true. It's just fun. It's just fun. It's a dumb movie, and I love it for that. I don't think you could go serious after Manhattan. And it's a much better film than Manhattan for me. So I will give it, on a normal movie scale, it would be a 6 or something, but on the scale of this, I'll give it an 8.
An 8?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you, Davey. Yeah, this movie is just, it's bad shit insane. You said it perfectly. Ryan, take it away.
Friday the 13th, Jason Goes to Hell. I've always loved this movie. It's personally one of my favorites in the whole franchise, honestly. I think there could be an argument for it being my favorite, even though I'm not going to say that, just because, like Davey said, it isn't really like a Friday the 13th movie. So I have a weird time saying it's my favorite Friday the 13th movie because I love the franchise, but it's like, it might be my favorite. It's so fun. It's 100% self-aware of what it's doing.
Oh yeah.
And that just, they do the whole thing of now he has a sister, Jason, now he has niece, and like total horror trope, like a bad franchise. It knew what it was doing. Oh, well, now Jason's gonna be this like worm monster that goes into people. Like it's his heart, like, making a drastic turn. It knew what it was doing, and I love every minute of it. This movie's nasty. It's the goriest Friday the 13th movie. Yet it's not the sleaziest though.
No,
that's the thing.
No.
I actually think as a movie, it's pretty competent. And it also feels, and largely probably because of New Line, it feels like a professional movie, like a actual like decent budget, actual decent people working on it, etc. Like it just feels more like a traditional studio movie than the other ones that come out before. Which I think New Line, they had Nightmare on Elm Street, which obviously a bit more highbrow, and like higher quality than a lot of the Friday movies. But I just think that like the kills in this movie are nuts. That scene in the tent where he just splits that girl in half by like, that's so nasty and gory. I think that's probably the most graphic kill in this whole franchise, probably, because he just goes right through and like yanks and the body falls apart. It's like, holy shit. Yeah, I mean, like all the body horror stuff is really cool. And I'm not always into that stuff, but I think it works really well in this movie. It's creepy, it's gross, really, 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 really gross, honestly.
Yeah.
But the whole movie has like kind of gross moments. Even like that scene where like Jason goes into the diner, or Robert, I guess,
Yeah.
when he goes into the diner. Um, the whole filming of that's really weird. Like when they're shooting the guns and stuff, and like Leslie Jordan's like facial expressions and stuff, like it's all very awkward and weird and like almost like a fever dream. And it's like it's really interesting how they did that scene. I do think that pretty much all the acting is really good in this, or like at least good. I'm not going to say like anybody's Oscar winners, but they're all pretty likable. I mean, Steven's great. He's probably the most likable guy we've had in these movies, honestly.
Yeah.
Jessica's pretty cool, and like honestly, her role is sort of pretty feminist too, like, which is cool because I mean, she's really the only one who could really kill Jason, like, only person. And it is like a bloodline thing, but that's pretty cool. And I mean, she like saves Steven's ass and stuff too. Like, it's pretty cool. She's a pretty tough lead girl in the movie. I mean, I think that like the cops are pretty cool. Or not like cool, but they do a good job. Like they're kind of assholes, honestly, but like so is life. But you know, like I don't know. Everybody does a pretty good job in here. I like the one cop, what's his name? Randy, the one who gets in the fight with Steven.
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
That's
is
a
that
great scene.
is that his brother?
I think
The kind of-
friend.
Yeah, they kind of look similar. Well, you can I can kind
little
of see
bit,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's pretty good. I love that fight scene between the two of them. That's pretty funny, honestly. But also, I don't know, they just have a cool relationship. You could tell they really care about each other. I mean, the mom was solid, you know. You have Kane Hodder. He actually plays two roles in this movie.
Yes, he does.
He's obviously Jason, and then he plays a security guard at the beginning of the movie.
Yep.
Which is interesting. I'm trying to think, like, I just think the overall flow of the movie is pretty solid. I mean, it never is boring at any point. And honestly, like it actually feels like it is a story. It's not like we're just in a new setting for people to get killed. There's like an actual story here, which is really cool too. I mean, it's a ludicrous story, but that's part of the self-awareness. Like it knows how crazy and stupid it is. And I totally fuck with that. Like it's so much fun. It's just total B horror type of stuff. And I don't know, it has like an amazing ending too, with Freddy Krueger's hand pulling Jason into hell. I mean, that's awesome. Like there was no better ending than that.
No.
I mean, that's like one of the greatest horror moments, honestly. Just like
People had to wait 10 years for the resolution of that.
yeah, and it wasn't that great. But
Spoiler
but
for future episodes.
I could be lying. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's an awesome ending. I love Creighton Duke. He's a great character. I mean, I don't know. There's not really anything I have negative to say about this movie. Like it's just, I mean, it's gonna be an acquired taste because of the body horror elements, and like there's gonna be a lot of closed-minded fans who are like, well, Jason's barely in it.
Yeah.
He's not in the first fucking movie, guys.
Yeah.
Amen.
Remember this.
Amen.
Like,
And he isn't.
Absolutely.
He's just different characters, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. And yeah, I mean, he is in it too. He looks like fucking John Merrick, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, and he's got like strands,
it's
of,
fuck-
strands of
yeah.
hair and stuff for the, you know.
I will say it's definitely the worst looking Jason, but he's been through a lot of shit at this point. Like, and
And I
he
think
did
it's the
just,
first
like-
one. The first one we don't see him unmasked at any point.
Yeah, it's. I mean, the whole implication of him being reborn into his sister's interesting, and probably part of why he looks so grotesque too. Because I mean, if we saw like when the cop, when he spit the thing into the one guy's mouth, the way he oozed and shit, that's kind of what Jason looks like. So it looks like he's back, but kind of fucked up, like which is cool. I mean, Kane Hodder's pretty brooding in the 3 minutes of the movie that he's in, but like, he's still great as Jason for those moments. Yeah, I mean, I would love if Jason wasn't in this and it was just like a different movie, like a body horror movie that isn't Friday the 13th. But I still welcome it as a Friday the 13th movie, almost like I welcome Season of the Witch as a Halloween movie.
Yeah,
because I mean, it is probably the best Halloween movie, honestly. Or second best, I don't know, depending on how you feel about the first. But like, yeah, but like, I don't know. I love it. It's a really fun movie. It's a competent horror movie too. I'm not gonna say like it's a masterpiece, but it's well made. And it's just a real thrill ride. It's the goriest movie in this series. So if you want some gore, this is the one to go to. I mean, the unrated cut of this, between the gore and the nudity, it's like, Jesus Christ, this is New Line was definitely stepping it up. Like,
yeah.
But it, like I said, it doesn't feel sleazy though.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
But it just feels like I don't know if you can have all that nudity and violence, but still be wholesome in a strange way. But
it is though.
No.
It's like it's weird.
They somehow pull it off. Pardon the pun. But what I like is that the next movie is going to have David Cronenberg in it as an actor.
Yeah.
And this one's full of David Cronenberg like body horror. So
yes, I was thinking about that.
He might have watched this one and went, "Oh, my kind of thing, body horror." Oh yeah, definitely. He might have just seen that scene where the guy just basically melts for 5 minutes, which I just love to bits. That's just
it's great. No, that's awesome.
His jaws just falling to bits. And he's sticking to the floor. And
it's awesome. I mean, this movie rocks. Like, as a movie, I'm gonna rate it a 7 out of 10, but as a Friday the 13th movie, I'm rating it as a 10 out of 10.
Holy
it's
shit.
it's so fucking good. It's so much fun.
Jeez, all right. Wow, holy shit. All right, 10 out of 10. Jason Goes to Hell. All right, so Jason Goes to Hell. This movie does not need to exist. It has no business of existing. Jason having a half sister, completely unnecessary. Actually, 95% of the characters in this movie, completely unnecessary. This is a terrible movie on paper. But I really have to emphasize, on paper, this is a terrible, terrible movie. But I fucking love this movie. This is so freaking entertaining. Davey, you said it perfectly. An hour, 27 minutes, you're not bored a single minute. Some crazy shit is going down that has no earthly business being there, but God damn it, you're just entertained. Your eyes cannot leave the screen. You don't know what the hell you're watching. You don't know what the hell you're seeing, but overall, you're just absolutely, your eyes are not leaving that screen. Yeah, I honestly don't really know how to start this, because it's just so out there. You're not going to find another I can't even compare this movie to another Friday the 13th movie. It's just it's in its little world and it's just staying there and it's proud to stay there. Ryan, you said it perfectly. This movie is very self-aware. It knows exactly what it's doing. It's not trying to be like any of the other movies. It's just trying to be its own little thing. It's just there. It's just there. This is not a Friday the 13th movie. It's really not. Jason being in this movie for like probably 20 minutes. If you count the whole hour and 27 minutes, he's probably there for like 20 minutes. But then again, he wasn't there in the first movie. You hear a lot of people talk negative about that, as Ryan, you mentioned. But yeah, that obviously does not bother me at all. I need to talk about Clayton Duke because Clayton Duke is probably one of the best characters in the whole series. I love this character to death. One scene I can really take away from this movie is that prison scene where, Steven is in the is in the lock cell right next to him. And Clayton Duke is just this is one of the best scenes in this whole franchise. Steven breaking his own fingers for some information on Jason. This is a golden scene. This is one of the most ridiculous scenes in the whole franchise, but god damn it, it's so fucking awesome. I don't know what I can't even describe in words this whole scene. It's so badass. I absolutely adore it.
I think it's just that, he wants 500 grand from the TV producers because that's how they work. But he knows that this kid's not got 500 grand. So
yes,
I'll just break your fucking finger then.
Break your fucking fingers, yes.
I'll take that as payment, just snapping your finger into it. It's brilliant. And the whole way he does it as well with the, are you ready to pay the price?
Yes. Oh my god.
So badass. He's even wearing like a duster and a fedora.
Yeah.
He should have been in what was that Stephen King adaptation of The Dark Tower with Idris Elba? He should have been the Man in Black.
He should have. Yes. Stephen Williams, man, he's the shit. I love him in 21 Jump Street. I love this guy to death. And this is probably the best Stephen Williams character you're ever gonna see. I love Clayton Duke to death. You have this, but the whole majority of this movie, whenever Clayton Duke is showing up on camera, every scene in this movie is pretty much similar to the break your finger scene. The way he talks, the way he presents himself, this is so badass character. Again, probably no earthly business of him being there, but that's a little bit of Clayton Duke. He's just this badass character. No earthly business of him being there, but overall, he's just fucking awesome.
If he wasn't so cool, we would be asking, how the fuck does he know all this shit?
Yeah.
But because he's so cool, we're not going, how does he know that? We're just going, I wish I was that guy. Yes. He's badass.
He's so badass.
Fucking Shaft has just joined the chat room, you know what I mean? Like, Jesus Christ, this guy's badass.
Right. Davey, you mentioned the opening scene, where Jason's just getting gunned down by every cop in town. This is a beautiful scene. It's very climactic, and it's just overall just an epic scene. Just a million bullets just flying at Jason. This is just a badass scene. I love that scene, and I have to talk about the scene at the morgue. The biggest scene at the morgue is probably one of the most gnarliest kills in this whole friggin' movie. This is the start of, the evil worm sperm thing. I can't really describe, the whole. Is it a possession type of thing? Is it kind of like an Evil Dead kind of thing? It's really tough to say, but this whole morgue scene, where the head of the morgue, he's working on Jason's body, and he's digging him apart, which is a pretty gnarly scene for the most part. You're seeing some shit you never even would imagine. And this guy gets fucked up. He gets fucked up, and now he's possessed by, I don't even know what you call it, the worm, the sperm thing, whatever. I don't know what the hell you would call it. But we do see Kane Hodder as like a little cameo as one of the security guards in the morgue. again, it's you kind of have to ask why, but then again, you just watch that whole grotesque morgue scene, so you don't it kind of flies by you. But yeah, that character of Kane Hodder gets killed, obviously, along with his other security guard. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much the whole morgue scene. Again, didn't need to be there, but it's just you're in for a ride. You're in for a ride. But the whole majority of the movie, you're just getting these weird scenes like that. These weird, just gnarly kills, just gnarly possession-ish type of thing. It's really experimenting with the body horror. Something that never really was there, with the first 8 movies. But now it's really experimenting with body horror. And I think, Davey, you mentioned that you're not getting a lot of, slashing kills. You're not getting a lot of, knife kills. You're just getting a lot of body horror stuff with this movie. It could be a positive, could be a negative. Really depends on your overall taste. But kills are pretty gnarly. Very I'm don't know if I would say, creative. I would just say they're experimental, if that really makes sense. So yeah, that's a little bit of the kills. You do have the most Friday the 13th kill we do see is, Ryan, you mentioned that one where the girl's just split in half in the tent. That's probably the most Friday the 13th ish kill that you would see. And that is, again, a pretty gnarly fucking kill. But the third act is actually kind of a negative, because the third act, I just felt like I kind of shrugged my shoulder. It was just way too whacked out, way too all over the place. Didn't really know what exactly it wanted to do, in my opinion.
Tell you what, the Voorhuises had a really nice house for a family where the mother's like the dinner lady at a camp.
Yeah,
It's like a mansion that they've got.
Yeah, right. But yeah, the third act, it kind of left me kind of shrugging my shoulders a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. The third act just didn't really do much for me. I didn't hate it, but just didn't do a whole lot for me. The character of Steven, which we kind of follow him throughout the majority of this movie, he's very likable. I do agree with you guys. He is definitely one of the most likable in the franchise, if you were to ask me. But overall, he's probably also one of the most unmemorable. I just don't I don't find anything he does very interesting. I don't really find he doesn't necessarily bring a whole lot to the table, if you were to ask me. Again, very likable. I don't hate this guy at all, but just I don't know. He was fine. He was just kind of there. Probably the biggest memorable scene with Steven is that jail cell scene, to be honest. But a lot of that was just because of Clayton Duke. But overall, yeah, he's good. But I don't know, just didn't really. I can think of way more memorable characters in this franchise than him.
Do you not think he has to be dialed down a little bit because everything else is so insane?
Yeah.
So if he was over the top as well, if he was doing, what do you call him? The dad from Back to the Future, what's his name?
Crispin Glover.
Yeah, if he was doing a Crispin Glover in this movie,
yeah,
it would be too much.
I get that. No, I get that. Yeah.
So he's doing, as I called it, the everyman performance. He's basically doing the straight guy because everything around him is so absolutely bonkers that it has to be kind of normal, I think.
Right. No, I agree. Yeah. So that's a little bit of Steven. Like, he's good, but I don't know. I just don't find him memorable, but he does fit the movie very well.
Yeah, it's fine. I wouldn't want him in a t-shirt. I know what you mean. Yeah. I wouldn't want a Steven action figure for Christmas.
No, probably not. But then you get to Kane Hodder's performance as Jason, and I don't know. He just doesn't bring a lot to the table here. I mean, you don't see a lot of Jason in this movie, as we all mentioned. But with the scenes we do see of Jason, I don't really find Kane Hodder really having fun with this role. I adored his performance in Jason Takes Manhattan, and I did appreciate him in New Blood. This movie, I don't know. I just thought he didn't really bring too much to the table here. But still not bad. But again, he's another one that just kind of there, a little bit unmemorable. Clayton Duke is probably the most memorable character you're gonna see in this entire movie. But yeah, overall characters are good. They're fine. Again, not Oscar winners, but they're good as far as acting performances go. They're all good. They're all pretty believable for the most part. You have his sister, Jason's sister. Again, I can say the same thing about her. This as what I said with Steven. She's just kind of there, not too memorable. She's good, but she's not memorable, and that's the majority of the characters you're gonna see here. They're all good. They're all fine, but just not the most memorable. The look of Jason pisses me off in this movie. I will admit that. He just looks disgusting. He looks like a moldy meatball. Like it's just I mean, Ryan, you said it perfectly. He did go through a lot of shit, and it does kind of make sense-ish. But I just hate the look of Jason. This is probably the worst looking Jason you're gonna see.
He has
Not
died a
an
few times.
animal. I'm a man.
Yes.
Can I have a bun?
But yeah, the look of Jason is just disgusting.
You can only die if you make him sleep on his back.
Holy shit. All right, so my overall thoughts on Jason Goes to Hell. This movie is just entertaining as all hell. I am intrigued by every scene in this movie. Definitely does not need to exist. Definitely has no earthly business of existing. But god damn it, this is one hell of a fucking ride. Few nitpicks as far as my negatives go, but they're just very, very small nitpicks. I'm having an absolute blast with Jason Goes to Hell. On paper, this is the shittiest of the shittiest movies, but goddamn, it's just so fucking entertaining. As a movie, I'm probably gonna give this a 7.5 out of 10. As a Friday the 13th movie goes, I'm probably gonna be with you, Davey, and give this an 8. And it's a very, very strong 8. I do enjoy this movie quite a bit. This movie just leaves me speechless. A lot of these scenes, I just can't describe them in words. It's just something you're gonna have to experience for yourself. There's no words that can accurately describe this movie. Just you have to watch it. You have to watch it. But yeah, there you go. Any closing remarks with Jason Goes to Hell, guys? Anything
Not
you
really.
need to add?
No, I mean, I don't think it's the best starting place for somebody coming into the franchise, but
It could be.
No.
you can watch it as a standalone film because it
Yes.
just makes shit up anyway. So why not? It's daft, it's crazy, it's bonkers, and somehow they did this for half the money of Takes Manhattan. That had a 6 million budget. This had 3 million, and this one looks 10 times better.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, so that is our reviews of Jason Goes to Hell. Let us know in the comments what you think. If you love it, if you hate it, definitely let us know. Davey, Ryan, both of you guys have channels. Anything new coming up on your ends?
I have a Queen episode coming up, I
Yep.
think next week or something. That's it, though. Ryan's Final Destination.
Yep, absolutely. Davey, what's going on with you? Anything?
Yeah, I'm doing a daily countdown of my top albums of 2022. Last few have been Muses, Will of the People. Today's was Gang of Youths, Angel in Real Time. Yesterday was Blue Rev by Always.
Nice.
So some cool albums. I did my big Blu-rays of 2022 list the other day, and best box sets of movie-wise of 2022. That went up the other day as well. So as for what's next, well, just tomorrow's album will be give you a sneak preview. It's going to be Wet Leg, so by the band Wet Leg.
Nice.
Some nice indie pop from a couple of girls from England.
Oh yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So check the description down below. Both channels will be linked. So yeah, definitely check out Davey and Ryan. you're watching LP Tremors, and just stay tuned for more shit. Friday the 13th, we're gonna be going over Jason X in the next couple of weeks, probably. Yep, Jason X right there. And you probably noticed a certain Iron Maiden series on my channel. Me and a dear friend Peter Jones going through every single album in their discography as far as studio albums go. We're going to be talking about Power Slave on Monday, so be sure to check that out if you are an Iron Maiden fan. I do have a few solo stuff in the works that's actually going to be coming out either tomorrow or on Sunday. I'm going to be talking about my 10 favorite albums of 2022. That's going to be an absolute blast. And I'm going to do a beginner's guide to Aerosmith. So 5 albums I would give to a non-fan. So those 2 are going to be coming up, both of which are going to be solo. Both videos should be out by either tomorrow or Sunday, as I said. But
I can't wait to see where Just Push Play is on that list.
Yeah. Honking on Bobo, please. Honking on Bobo.
Yeah. Oh, God, kill me.
Just honking on Bobo, play, and Aerosmith's greatest hits. That's all you need.
Oh, interesting. But okay, so we do have a few stuff in the works on all of our ends. So be sure to check us out. And again, let us know what you think of Jason Goes to Hell. Stay tuned for in the next couple of weeks. We're going to be talking about Jason X. Another bad shit movie, but I think we can pull through it. For Davey, for Ryan, I'm Tyler with the LP Tremors. Stay metal, stay scared. Bye, guys.